All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MilsimUnits.com podcast. I'm your host, C. Brock, and with us here tonight, we have a group of leaders from the 2nd Direct Action Brigade, 2DAB. That includes Colonel A. Sexton,
Yep.
Lieutenant Colonel K. Harris,
Hello.
Major W. White,
How's it going?
and Master Sergeant A. Kitchner.
Hello, everyone.
All right. So this unit has pretty storied history, a lot to talk about here tonight. So we're going to get right into it. To start off, I mean, each of you gentlemen, I'm curious to hear. Can you tell us about your background in Milsim? Where did you get started in Milsim gaming?
So, from my perspective, when I started Milsim, I was about 13 years old. Um, and then I kind of was interested in it at first. I played a lot of like SOCOM, all that stuff, growing up. And then we then moved into, or I moved into a greater perspective by the time I hit my late teens, where I started playing Battlefield, Ghost Recon, all that stuff.
Yep.
I actually met uh, Kevin or Harris through one of my Ghost Recon adventures, and then we kind of just been friends ever since. And then I ended up joining Battlefield 5 Milsim with them. Um, but that was kind of like what led up to the like kind of I guess the start of the Second Direct Assault Brigade or 2DAB. And then so yeah, that's there's that.
Yeah, so you got into it young. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. And I mean, yeah, you've come a long way. So that's really, and we'll get into that, in more depth here coming up. But yeah, Lieutenant Colonel. So, and that is Harris here. So you met up with Sexton here in Ghost Recon. I mean, tell us about your story. How did it begin for you?
So I mean, I've been playing Milsims for at least 12 years. It's been pretty fun. It's been anything from Battlefield 4 to, like you said, Ghost Recon, Battlefield 5. The next step, I mean, only going up felt to be Arma. So when I got the chance, this is where I stayed.
Yeah, that's cool. And I mean, I hear this a lot. There's some commonality among a lot of milsim leaders and just gamers in general, starting in different games and platforms. Battlefield is a common thing, but somehow we all end up in the Armaverse when it's said and done. So, I mean, there's some reasons for that, and I'm sure we'll hear more about that as well. But Major White, what about you? Tell us about your start in milsim.
Well, it started pretty much back when I first got internet, back in Ghost Recon Wildlands, and from then on, uh, Battlefield 5 came out, and I basically stuck with those guys for a while, and then I met Kevin here in one unit, and we became the two or one and two IC of the air detachment, and did that for a long time till Reforger evidently came around, and we were all on Xbox, so that was the best thing we could do for Milsim. So did that, and then about a year and a half into Reforger, we thought it was a dead zone. So Colonel Sexton right here convinced about half his friends to buy PCs and switch over to Arma 3 with him. So we all did.
That's a hell of an order, you know. That's pretty good. But Master Sergeant Kitchener, what about you? I mean, every unit needs its senior NCOs, the backbones, of the organization. How did you get started?
Yeah, I didn't meet these guys for forever until the unit was actually started and a few months later. But I originally started Milsim when I was like 13 or 14. My brother was a tanker in a Battlefield 5 Milsim, and of course, as every older brother does, drags his younger brother into the same thing. And so I ended up doing that with him for a few years. It kind of just died off, and I stopped doing it. And then I did like a few groups here and there. I think I did like a breakpoint thing, but when you're that young and you're always trying to do Milsim stuff because Battlefield isn't really a Milsim game; it's more of a clan game. You have the classic no combat repping burned into your brains. At least on the tanker side, but you always like watch YouTube videos on like Arma Ops and all this other different stuff. So it's always like getting super hyped up, waiting for that to come out, waiting for that to play, and then so for me, I highly anticipated Reforger coming out. when it came out on Xbox because I only ever had a console for forever. I immediately bought the game, started playing with a group. I was in a different Milsim, and then I think the unit started like right when the 2-dab started, right when Reforger came out, and I was in a different unit. And then around late November, early October, I think my old group leader's account got like hacked, so the unit shut down, and we ended up merging into 2-dab because they were doing like large community events. So that was kind of just like our last hope and bail. And then that's when I like joined the unit. It was like late 2022.
That's interesting. So yeah, I mean, a lot of common themes there among gamers that are into Arma and Milsim in general here, coming from different backgrounds, but you all started pretty young and have just kind of grown, your leadership skills as you went along in the gaming. So, tell us about 2Dab here. So it, started about the launch of Reforger. Can you tell us how that all came about? And I mean, I know you guys got some different perspective, different links of service in the unit. So by all means, like hit this from different angles.
Yeah, so I originally started 2Dab right when I got into basic in the United States Army. I just got out and I was like, oh yeah, like my buddy Hayden, he was like, yo, this game just dropped. We need to get it. I was like, all right, cool. And so he actually bought me Armor Reforger. And then um, I was like, okay, cool. Like, this is like, I guess my first taste of like what an Arma or a Bohemia interactive game would be like. Um, and I was like, God, like, I love this. So then we started it from there with standards and policies and stuff like that. I implemented a lot of what I knew or what I learned. I mean, obviously, that was like almost 4 or 5 years ago. So I've definitely learned a lot since then from both being military and my real job and then applying everything I know to Arma. Um, it's also like a learning curve. Like it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a retention. Like I'm able to retain my knowledge.
Mm.
So we started off with just basic standards implementation, and then it was all ground stuff. I mean, obviously, maybe. I mean, I'm assuming you've played Arma Reforger
Sure.
when it
Yep.
first launched. It was all ground stuff. There was not like any super advanced. Like there wasn't helicopters. There wasn't jets like they have now. Like it was all then just ground and vehicles and stuff. So that's kind of what we were a conventional infantry unit back then. But I think we've definitely improved a lot since then. So, but yeah, that's what I got. Kevin?
I mean, for me, it all started at that call at 5 something in the morning. From there, it was like, hey, the stuff that I used to do in all my power mill sims all come together. It makes sense. So I joined. Haven't really looked back since.
That's great. Now, Major White, Master Sergeant Kitchner here. What about your perspectives? I mean, when did you hear about 2Dab? It's like when did that kind of enter your situational awareness?
Well, for me, I had known basically their friend group of Harris and Sexton here. They had a friend group, and they were all getting into it. And about like probably what a week, 2 weeks after Reforger launched, one of my other buddies from that same Battlefield 5 Milsim that Harris is from had joined and was like, "Hey, you should totally like come do this with us." And so, well, I already had Reforger because I enjoy the game, and started as just a basic grunt and worked all throughout the unit, all throughout the years, through different things.
Outstanding. And Kitchener, how long? I mean, I can't. I don't know if you said exactly how long you've been in, but when did you hear about 2Dab and want to get involved?
Um, so I don't remember a lot of the finer details because it was like 3 years ago. So I'm sure uh somebody else here can explain a little bit more what they were doing. But I remember beforehand when I was in a different Armory Forger unit, 2Deb used to do like these massive community events where we'd get like 50, 60 people, whatever, all to go do one op.
Mm.
And of course, before you never wanted to cooperate, so that was always a hassle. Um, but yeah, they would go out, they'd host the stuff, and they'd pretty much let every unit kind of work on their own objective or work with other units, and it was like a really good way of networking. And then our unit kind of just got really stagnant and shut down. And I remember the like 2IC at the time ended up like giving us a home there, which that was later on, like 2022, like last week or two of November. And I think I officially joined the 2Deb server like October 6th.
Gotcha.
That's the date I remember at least. But
Yeah, that's interesting. So, I mean, yeah, you guys, you've been there, all of you, pretty much from the get-go here. So, I know you've got a lot of experience. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like we all end up in the Armaverse, like I said, and Reforger's great, and being able to have cross-platform play is a really outstanding feature. But even today, I mean, as great as the mods are, and as much as the community has contributed, it's just not there in terms of Arma's like functionality and capability of like you're scripting, you're not only Zeusing but editing and just all the plethora of mods and different kind of immersive elements that you can add to it. So, I mean, hopefully one day things will be good to go when Armor 4 hits. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's always a natural progression coming to Armor 3. And I just saw a video today. I can't remember. It was from a high profile you know ga- uh, Milsim gamer, but it was like 5,000 hours in. Why can't he quit Armor 3? And I was I was kind of asking myself that same question here. So, what can you tell us about your operational schedule here? It's like how often you guys play. What are your kind of like hot nights or hot days in terms of ops, and what do those missions look like? What's it look like when you're in a game together?
So the overall genre of the unit, right? So we're a realism focused unit, right? So anything that like the United States Army in real life kind of focuses on is kind of something that we do. As far as operational times go, we operate every Tuesday and Thursday at 19:30 EST or 7:30 EST, and then our FTXs, because right now we're in our training phase,
Hmm.
and we'll be in our training phase till December. So our FTXs are on Saturdays at the same time, which is 19:30 EST. Um, and the operations we're working on now is FID, which is Foreign and Internal Defense, and we're also working on UW, which is conventional warfare.
Hmm.
And Me personally, just like being so networked in like with my work and like my buddy, his dad is an 18 Bravo in real life. I've actually had like the honor to sit down and talk to him and ask him questions and just kind of pick his brain. Obviously with all the stuff that he can tell me it's not classified
Hmm.
about special forces, and he's kind of told me like a little bit of stuff, and I try to apply everything that I know or I've heard in game on how they do it. So compound raids, FID, UW. Um, if we're doing any VIV or vehicle to vehicle interdictions, anything of that nature, fast rope fry system, spy system, all that stuff. We try to do, as well as we utilize like actual like, which like, and we'll probably get to this later on, but like my unit or our unit per se would not be as big or as professional as it is now if it wasn't for the individuals that have taken the time out of their days to seek that higher echelon of like, hey, I want to be better.
Hmm.
um Kitchener's a perfect example of, he's like, we'll sit there at like 3 a.m. and he's just in a VC. He's like, "Hey, Kitchener, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just reading the Ranger Handbook." Why? Like, who does that? And they're off time. So, and individuals like him have inspired other people in our unit to have done that and like go out and they'll seek higher levels of education and military education. But like all of our schools, so we do air assault, we have military free fall, we have Pathfinder school, sniper school. Like our sniper school is taught by someone who's actually CivSec qualified, which is Special Forces Sniper qualified, and he was able to kind of teach us almost like identical to what the course is without revealing any like TS clearance of stuff. Um, just because like what he told me, and it's crazy too because like he was my squad leader in real life. So and
No
he
kidding.
so he actually left the army because he got out, and then he was like, "Yo, I want to come play Arma with you." And I was like, "Roger that, Sarnt. Like you ain't gotta tell me. Like okay, too easy." And so he ended up coming and being one of our sniper instructors. He's a great dude. Kevin and Kitchner both shot with him in real life, and he's an awesome dude. But yeah, so that's kind of what I got to say. Kevin, correctly, Kitchner.
God, I love that AR he had. I mean,
Well, I'll I'll add on to that. For scheduling wise, we've pretty much kept the exact same schedule since the beginning. We haven't changed it. Yeah, we'll do like random fun ops and stuff like that if somebody's on and there's a group of people that want to just play Arma because it is a video game after all. So we put together some random stuff, and we don't just play Arma. This kind of leads on to the next topic, I suppose. But um, we we're basically a big happy family here, and we'll keep if you put in the time and effort, you'll be part of the family that we have, um, and we'll give back to you what you give back to us. So that's kind of where that is, I suppose.
Yeah, that's good. High speed. I mean, you gotta want it. Like I said, a few minutes ago, Arma allows you to do some things that are absolutely amazing. Particularly for large scale milsim ops. But it's not without its challenges, and just you think about what special forces soldiers, what rangers, various SOCOM operators, what they have to go through not only in training but in their ops to pull it through. I mean, yeah, it's just a video game, but you learn to appreciate that patience that you might not have in some of the other titles, at an earlier age. But I mean, that sounds outstanding. Actually, amazing that you guys get together in real life. I mean, you're you're shooting. I mean, you're doing exactly what
Yeah.
you're doing in game. It's like, you're
It's
crossing both
it's actually
worlds.
really crazy because so Harris and White both came to my wedding. And Harris he was in my groomsmen. Um,
Wow.
and Crackley or
I
White,
was his little manager.
yeah, he was our manager, and so he like took pictures and everything. It was crazy. It's crazy. So
It is incredible. You
didn't I
guys,
bring my AR on? I did bring my AR on that flight. Oh my God.
you definitely got a good thing going here. So, I mean, that's incredible. And I mean, yeah, we'll get into various details, but like I said, let the conversation flow. So you mentioned some of the other titles you play. I wanted to ask you about how do you, because I love immersive milsim. I love Arma. I
Mhm.
love high speed, low drag kind of ops when you can do them. I didn't come from a
Right.
special forces Milsim unit, but when we could fast rope or do an airborne drop or whatever, I mean, you really gotta. It takes a lot of work behind the scenes
Yes,
in
it does.
leadership, all the way up and down the line there. So, how do you balance that like really high detailed, high level immersiveness with this special forces focus you guys have, officially? How do you balance that with just having fun during the week?
So
So,
yeah, that's
you mind
great.
if I take this one?
Yeah, you take
Um,
it, take it.
so being at least at the forefront of the leadership. So my current position as I operate one of the ODAs as the team sergeant. So I'm the 18 Zulu.
Okay. Yep.
Um, so I would technically be like the 3IC of the team, but we don't currently have an XO for the team, so I'm covering up for that position.
Hmm.
But like stuff we really try to hammer on in the trainings is combat competentness, right? We want to make sure that we're all really up in high speed on that. To handle a lot of like the higher quality trainings that we need for like maybe air assault or free fall, we just dedicate entire schools. So maybe we'll just like take a week and we even do like school packets and such. So you can, if you want to go out and get that training, which we're collapsing our air assault and free fall into our basic to make sure everybody has that. But
Hmm.
um, so we make sure everybody can go through the school and pass. And if they're not quality controlled and they can't pass the school, then they're not gonna have a great time deploying. But as we keep talking about in the like our whole culture is that we're a really big family, and we do a really good job at being able to separate that business and like family environment. So we're at a point, right, where when we're in game and we're locked on and everybody's turned on, we're able to sit there and recognize that we got to listen to the leaders and do what they say. But then, like one of the game titles we've been playing a lot lately, probably
Broken
too
Arrow,
much, is
baby.
Broken Arrow, and
Oh, dude.
Yep.
we're all, I would say, we can all recognize that it's not. I mean, that one's a great example. It's a team game, and we're all able to kind of just come up, formulate plans, and work together rather than we don't always have that top down like authority position. It breaks down to we're all equals as soon as we're not in a Milsim setting.
It's kind of crazy too, because kind of touching on what he said is like there will be times where it's like, hey yo, like Alex, do you want to play poker? And we'll play like Discord games like poker. We'll just sit there and just play poker. Or uh
Yeah,
Crack will
5
sit
minutes
there.
before a meeting.
Yeah. Like Crack would be like, well, look, and the thing is I find it so funny because White usually gets roped in of all of our schemes, so we'll sit there and be like, oh, we're playing this, and then Crack would be like, ah, dang it, damn, all right, I guess I'm in. So like it's like he gets like non-peer pressured but peer pressured, like it makes no sense, and it's a
Doesn't
great
take
time.
much.
Can't
It's the
resist.
thing that the thing that we preach at 2Dab is like at the end of the day, like we want you to have fun. If you're not having fun, then we're doing our job wrong. And I tell a lot of people that come in brand new is like I can't promise you that you won't ever that you're gonna be. Hold on, let me phrase this. I can't promise you that you're gonna find your dream unit here, because if I were to promise you that, that's wrong, and that's me being egotistically, and that's not okay. And I can't promise you that you're not going to encounter drama here, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a community, and what community in 2025 does not have drama, right? Like it's just part of it. But what I can promise everybody that does give us a chance is like we will do our utmost hardest as a Zeus team and as a command team or a command element to give you the most immersive experience and the most fun experience. And if we're not making those expectations, then like we will strive harder and further to do that. um and so like even if it's at the cost of our own fun, where it's like, hey yo, like we're not having fun, but as long as you guys are having fun, that's what's making us have fun. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
also on the flip side of that token too is like, and I'm pretty sure Kisha talked on this too, is like we want quality, not quantity.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, like we can have 70 dudes that are active and they show up all the time, but if they're not willing to do the basic bare minimum, then at the end of the day, it's like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, because Arma's fun if you play with friends, they do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? But if you have 70 dudes that aren't doing it the right way, it's just like, and you're just like, uh, being a shenanigan coordinator, as my buddy patches on his helmet, right? It's at the end of the day, it's just like, well, you're not having fun. You're just ripping your hair out because you're like, damn, this is this is too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, something I forgot to touch on that I kind of want to touch on is that we've developed kind of a saying where, as I'm sure we all know, you can't just keep Milsim times within Milsim times. There's always questions and stuff happening whenever. But whenever we're kind of hanging out, like if I need to ask Sexton here a question, I kind of just pull him into the room like, hey, can you put on your Milsim hat for a half second? Which we do that all the time. Um, and something else I wanted to bring up is that like we do our absolute best to stay impartial when it comes to like politics or like sensitive anything like that. We're aware everybody's going to have their own different opinion, and we're all for it, right? Have your own opinion, but like if you want to share or talk about that stuff, we're of the point of view like go for it. Just know your audience. Because if you're going to be around somebody who gets offended, I mean, there are rules in place that like if you're doing it. Like if you're in a group chat, like a personal group chat, then iffy. But like if you're, in the middle of the general VC and you're talking about this stuff and you start offending people, well, we
Maybe tone it down a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
we'll pull the person aside, have a conversation. If it keeps escalating, we have a whole 3-strike system, which I don't know that well. I'm sure somebody else here could speak on that. But
Well, I mean, altogether, I mean, you talked about focusing on the fun, and I mean, that's what it boils down to. I've had that conversation with other leaders in my own kind of, leadership in Milsim Gaming. If people are miserable, they're not going to want to come back. There's only so much of
Oh,
a challenge
yeah.
they're going to want to overcome, and if it's something from bad leadership or just, a bad server experience or whatever, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that kills units or can kill it. But I mean, it sounds like you give your enlistees like all the resources that you can. I mean, so you've got the training, you got the documentation, you're putting the time in as leaders. And I know it can be like a part-time job, running a milsim unit and even running a particular element, even a squad. It's a lot of work. And people don't always realize it. Everyone wants to have those stripes on their shoulder, or that that bar on their epaulette, but the amount of effort that goes into it is, and to make it work is a lot. So I think that's a testament to, your approach, your own leadership experience, and what you're sharing with your people. So you mentioned Two Dab as a family. So, I mean, I'm curious to hear about the culture. You guys you play other games. You're just chilling, in the voice channels during the week. What's it look like, once you get up and running in the unit? It's like, can you tell us about some of the, maybe some of the particular experiences that you guys have shared together? I mean, you talked about weddings and everything else,
Yeah.
so I'm not sure where this
I
will
can
go, but yeah, what else you
I can
got?
take this one.
Yeah,
I
take it. Take
I
it.
could do some of this.
Sure.
So, pretty much, one thing I say to everybody that I personally do interviews for when they join the unit is main thing we want from you is communication. So if you're not gonna make it to an event or something, even though it's a consistent schedule, obviously people have lives. That's something we understand, we
Mm.
respect. You have a life. It's a video game after all, and just tell us. Like, let us know you're not gonna make it, and that personally to me shows that you're willing to, look and be, hey, these guys seem pretty reasonable. Communicate with them. And as for our culture thing, everybody argues. It happens all the time. Um, but it's all in good fun for the most part. We still all very much respect each other. And as you mentioned here, and as we previously said, Harris and I went to Sexton's wedding, and we've lived in his house for a week. Hell,
Mm.
Harris is actually going to his place in
Like a
about,
month.
I don't know, yeah, a month
Yeah.
to go
Huh.
stay and watch his dog. Um, I literally back in June, Harris and Kitchner here were at my house, and we were
Spent
having
last
fun,
Christmas with
hanging
you.
out. Yep, he
Yeah.
spent last Christmas with me. We have other people in our unit, who are just guys on the internet that hang out with us. And if you want to be more hidden about personal life, sure, that's fine. You're here. You want to do Milsim stuff, great. Or if you want to, as some people do sometimes, blurt out all the problems you have with your life. Oh well, we'll hear you out.
Yeah.
And we'll talk you through things. So
On and to kind of touch on that, there was a soldier. I'm not gonna kind of express his whole business, but he kind of called me. It was like I just got off shift. I worked a 24-hour shift, and I just got home. He called me. It was like 8 a.m. and he called me. He was crying, and I was like, "Dude, are you okay?" Now, mind you, this dude is a prior vet, and I was like, "Hey, like, are you okay?" And he's like, "I had a death in family." And I was like, "What do you need?" Like, because he called my personal cell phone. I was like, "What do you need? What do you, like? Explain to me what you need so I can help you." Because at the end of the day, like, yes, as like a lot of people don't understand this too, but like when you get into a unit that gives so much, that cares so much about their soldiers, right? Like they like they'll do everything they can if they need them. Like I can't tell you how many times that like Kitchner and Kevin and Crackley have bought games for other people or have given people money if they needed it, just because it's like, oh, they need this or they need that or whatever. I can't tell you how many, like, we have other people inside of our unit. One of them's named Silence. He literally bought this one dude like a whole brand new graphics card,
Mm.
right, for his computer. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, okay, cool. Like, but going back to the story, he lived in Arkansas, and I was like, if you need me, let me know. And he's like, I just don't know what to do. And I'm just like, do I need to come to Arkansas? Because like I'll tell my leadership right now, like, he's like, no, I'm good. I was like, you need to let me know. Like I want updates like every 3 days. Make sure you're okay. And I said, I'm gonna call and check on you, make sure you're all right. Um, and that's just kind of the thing too, is like it's more than that to us, right? Because for me specifically growing up, like I never really had like my family, like I never had a family. So it's like I had to make my own family. You know what I'm saying? And my dad was a very firm believer in that. My father was very much like, hey, water can be thicker than blood. And I was like, all right, too easy, pops. You know what I'm saying? So um that's kind of like where this comes from. It's like, hey, yo, like at the end of the day, like as long as you show us like, hey, yo, you're down for it and you're down to be here and you're down to clown, like cool, dude, then we'll rock and roll with you. You know what I'm saying? Especially like friendships develop years on years and then they eventually turn into like real life friendships. Like I know there's another unit that I think it's the 7th Cav, and they do like Cav Day where like everybody meets up. I think that's crazy to me. I was like, holy crap.
Yep.
But like they also have like 10,000 people in their unit. So I was like, dude, like, holy, I want to be like y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I think that stuff's crazy to me. And like honestly too, is like we wouldn't be where we're at if it wasn't for like uh for certain units. Like we operate with this one unit, it's called JOC, and we have these other dudes from this other unit called C Squadron. And if it wasn't for them like taking the time out of their day to kind of like show us the ropes, or like if we're incorrect about something, correct us on something, like we wouldn't be as proficient as we are now. Um so I think like they're a great thing, and
To
a lot of good. Go ahead, Krabby. I'm
to
done.
add to add on to what he just was saying, if you bring knowledge that's valuable or just in general, we'll definitely take that to heart and learn from you. Whether that be something about medical, like you know medicine, or it be something about communications. We try to learn as much as we can as a unit for our own guys to benefit from. For instance, as he was saying, JI guys and them basically drew us towards the path of more realism style, I guess, gameplay and operations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you talked earlier, or somebody mentioned that the drama in the unit. I mean, that's just like you said, it's part of human nature here. You guys have a lot of passionate, dedicated people, and they're giving their time, their talent, to make things a reality, to keep that immersion. I mean, from the top down, I'm sure. Really great, just kind of history story. Kind of great experience you guys have as friends and family in gaming. So I mean, um, shit. It's like I said you got a lot of good things going. I always it really heartens me to hear units that put that much just much heart into it.
Right.
So I mean, uh, I just what else can we learn from your experiences? I mean, Sexton, with your experience in the military, learning from other vets, bringing that real life side of things into the Arma experience here. What are some of the challenges that you faced, running the unit? It's like,
Oh,
we talked about like technical stuff in the game,
yeah.
but I mean, you're like, what do you got here that other people can learn from? Because this is what we want to see
I
more of in the in the
Right,
in the
yeah.
world, you know?
100%, yeah. I was an asshole. 100%. When we first started the unit, I was an asshole. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And I'm not gonna lie to the viewers. I think that's just wrong. I Kitchner can attest, so can Crackly and Kevin. Like I was not that
He
guy.
he had us run laps around an airfield
Yeah. Um,
multiple times.
and
I
it
had to
turned
crawl 'em.
in it turned into, honestly, like over the years of being in the military, right? Like I had a lot of personal stuff wrong with myself, right? So I then and if it wasn't for my NCOs in real life that kind of guided me in the right direction, and then like me going and working on my personal vendettas, like, or me personally, right? Like I think personally, like now granted I still got a lot of work to do on myself, right? But like it's so much now where it's like I would 100% I care about everybody more now and in current than I did back then, because back then it was just a game to me, right? But now it's just like, dude, no, because these people have been here for 4 or 5 years, you know what I'm saying? Like they care about this just as much as you do. And it's but also not on just that, like my technical abilities from Zeusing, right? Like I've learned so much, and there are times where when Kevin and Crackley they Zeus, it's like, hey, this is how like the unit is gonna learn, right? You can't just throw in a whole tank brigade at them and expect them to learn with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like they're like, yeah, we understand. Um, so, uh, but even then though, like I'm on the firm. I'm a firm believer that it doesn't matter how old somebody is or how young somebody is. You can learn from anyone. It
Mm,
doesn't matter.
mm.
Um, and like me personally, I learn from other unit leaders all the time. Like I'll talk to Marty and Rabbit from C Squadron, and it's like I'll learn from them 100%. Like they'll tell me stuff. I was actually like I learned some stuff from like Lieutenant Shu from 27. It's like, oh, like I learned some stuff from him. You know what I'm saying? So there's like LaFlash, right? Like I
Mm,
learned some
yep.
stuff from him. So it's it's great to be networked. And actually, it's crazy because when we were on Reforger, I actually helped Nomad set up NATO, which is like the
Oh yeah,
big. Yeah, I
I'm
helped
on
him.
their
It
yeah I'm
was
on their
me and
Discord.
Aries. Yeah, me and Aries helped him set that up. And it was just like he was like, "Hey, dude," like, and me and Nomad are good friends. Like, he'll call my Facebook. Like, we're friends on Facebook. He'll call me. He's like, "Hey," like I was like, "Yo, dude," and so it's crazy because being networked and being surrounded by such great people, um, and that are willing to like that are not willing to that are willing to take you in and just kind of teach you what they know and then not just push you away and treat you like an outsider.
Mm,
I really appreciate that. And if it wasn't for those individuals that I didn't name, I think that, and there's so many more too, right? Like I learn from my members all the time. So like Kitchner's taught me a thing or two. It's like, oh crap, my bad, bro. Like this is I'm an 11 Bravo infantryman. You're teaching me stuff I don't even know about. Like, holy crap, thanks, bro. So it's it helps me out a lot, and I've learned a lot being in the position that I'm in. So,
yeah, that's outstanding.
Kevin, Crackley,
Well, as for challenges, obviously, if anybody's ever worked with Arma and Eden Editor and stuff,
Mm,
there's always random bugs you have to find, or in general, basically every Milsim unit uses mods, so there's always some problem with mods you got to sort out.
yep.
And for the longest time, back in Reforger when it started, there was no custom servers, obviously. So that was one of the ways we got recruits, was just going into a zero server game master and doing random stuff. And anybody that would come into the match and be rude and kick, and anybody who was down for it would see if we could recruit them afterwards. But once we got a server, obviously we didn't want to really pay that much because we were just starting out, and it was mainly just Frost here paying for the server. So we got that. It was hit or miss. Same with Arma 3. Our server was very hit or miss. Just recently, like a month ago, we decided to say screw it and buy an entire server box. So
Mm,
server issues no more. But that is definitely a our community's funding it, not just Frost. So
it's great to have people like that. Honestly, Kevin,
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
have you learned anything from prior to now?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, being around the people, learning things that I wouldn't have known for like, my job in the game, just how to conduct things from a different perspective. Uh, Seeing the good and the bad in people really just it's great. Honestly, it's kind of refreshing because things happen that you don't expect, and it can either tear people apart or put them together. And 9 times out of 10, I've just seen this unit come together.
mm.
Learning is always open because I mean it's an everyday thing. It's not like I just one day I'm here, I learned something new, and one day I didn't. It's a constant.
Alex,
Uh, the biggest challenge I faced multiple times, burnout. As everybody else here is well aware, I'm almost always fighting that, and I kind of get it every few spurts. But what I've learned a lot more is I would go into things charging head first, being really motivated for month to month, and then just kind of die out for like 2 weeks, sometimes a month. Um, right now, and I've learned is that the best way to go about that is instead of just trying to be Captain America or your one man team, you need to rely on the people next to you and above you to help you out. You know, I I try to well principles that I applied in the Milsim that now I carry into real life because I think they're really important and they got me far here at least in the community is honesty, uh, slash transparency, and shit. Just lost my train of thought. But
It happens.
and I think the biggest part is being honest with everybody else around you. So instead of just fighting that burnout and just fighting that quiet war, I can sit here and I can go to my team leader and be like, "Hey, I need you to help me with this because I can't do it."
Hmm.
Or I have another leader right under me. I need to be able to flex and swap in between everybody else to do that. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things NCOs have to do, any good leader, they got to learn to delegate because it not only helps lighten the load with many hands contributing, but it also gives others an opportunity to shine and grow. And that's what you've all talked about here, your own kind of growth and development, whether it's technical excellence in game, the kind of textbook theory behind it, or the relationships, the friendships, the interactions that you've kind of fostered over the years to bring out the best in yourselves and each other. I mean, that's what makes or breaks a unit, like you were saying a moment ago. So, good shit all around. And I mean, talking about being networked here. You mentioned some of your joint ops to a small degree here in the lead up, but I'm curious. Tell us about your relationship with the community here. What do you got going? At present. What are you looking forward to in the future?
So as a command team, right? Like it's anytime we talk about doing something super super big, like especially like a join op, right? It's not my decision, right? Just because I'm the owner of the unit, like that doesn't mean it's my unit. It's absolutely not my unit. It is absolutely it's their unit, right? Like this is their glory, right? So whenever we go to make a decision like that, I consult Kevin and Crackler. He's like, all right, cool. What do you guys think? And they're like, either yes or no, right? And if it's a yes, then we then bring in like the senior NCO or other officers. We're like, hey man, this is what we're thinking. We're gonna do this regardless, but we now want your opinion on it, and then why you think this way, right? Because the command staff's already voted on it. They're like, yeah, we think it's a great idea or it's a bad idea. We've done, I think the biggest op that we've done was Operation Tots. It was I can't remember what we called it. Tip of the
Tip
spear.
of the
Sorry.
spear.
Yeah, thank you. And it was 80 people, and that was when we met who's now our ODA team leader, and he was part of SMU or Special Missions Unit. Um, so we had another. I think he was the XO at the time, or he was another unit at the time. But he made this whole thing on Altus, and basically we utilized two C-17s, and we worked with Black Sheep Company, um, which is a PMC slash casual sim, and they were like the Altus like ground forces, and so their whole objective was to push back the enemy force, which I think was Russians. I'm not 100% sure.
Hmm.
And we came in on C-17s and like dropped in with JLTVs and stuff like that.
This is back
So
when we were still a conventional unit.
yeah, we were conventional at the time.
Uh,
So uh, we then it was awesome because it was like 2-3 hours long. And we want to do bigger ops. Like I think what we're planning on is hopefully by 2026 we're gonna do a 24-hour. Um, especially with like our server box, we kind of want to like put it to the test and see what it can do. Um, but also like I think I was talking to LaFlash like maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks ago about like that last op that just happened with BIA. I was like, I want to host one. He's like, let me know. And I was like, all right. So, uh, and that's kind of something I really want to do, is something towards that aspect, is host something for the community, right? Because to me, and something as being like a unit leader, I've always noticed is all the communities, like, yes, I get it. It's a competitive market, right? Because you're competing with another unit, whether it's Halo, Star Wars, it doesn't matter. You're competing for the members. You're competing for that one competent dude that can come in and do everything that you need him to do, right? Or dude or dudette, right? Um, so, but at the end of the day, it's like we don't always need to compete with each other, right? Like there's Arma is a community game. Everybody should get together and like work together as a team, and that's kind of what like that's what my philosophy is like I understand other units are standoffish, but we're not here to take other people's members. We're not here to do any of that. We just want to have a good time with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Sure. I mean, special forces isn't for everybody. I mean, it sounds
no,
like you guys
100%.
were doing high speed stuff before you really, went into it 100%. But everyone's got their kind of interest, and sometimes it shifts over time. Sometimes guys are locked in for many years at a stretch. But just the fact that you're willing to make those connections and to try that out. I mean, that's at Milsim Units. That's what we want to see. LaFlash. I mean, all of our mods and our devs here, that's why we're doing this. It's like we're not here, getting rich off this. We're we're paying for the technical services that we're trying to provide
Oh,
in
100%.
this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is all about a love of community, and just trying to unlock the full potential. And I mean that's what like I said, we need to see more of throughout the Armaverse and beyond. So. I mean, seriously, bravo, in terms of like pulling that off and making it a thing here. So, I mean, you're looking forward to more joint ops. You've got a pretty wide and varied experience for everybody who's kind of looking in from the outside, for your guys inside. How do you reach out? How do you engage with potential recruits, like, outside of your server times? It's like, what's your kind of strategy for, making those connections with potential enlistees?
So, um, how it works is, right. We utilize Milsim units to a great extent, right. We have like we're tier one on there, which I'm pretty sure you're tracking that already.
Yep, yep.
But we're tier
Good
one
shit.
on their Milsim units. We post like almost every day or every other day on the recruitment of troops and Milsim units Discord.
Yep.
We use the Arma Discord as well. Um, we've encountered times where, like, this, I can use this most recent example where we had somebody from another unit, and they operated with us, and they came to all of our stuff, and they weren't our soldier, but we are like, hey, we're not going to turn you away. You know what I'm saying? If you want to come and like learn how to do some stuff, we'll gladly teach you. And this individual pulled me aside, and he was like, I really really like the way you do things, right? I want to come and be a part of you. And I was like, look, I will gladly take you, however, comma. I was like, your leadership needs to know that you want this. I was like, because I'm not going to ruin a relationship with another community just for one person. Because in my opinion, that's not worth it. Right. And I don't want to tarnish the relationship that me and the units have with that individual. Like, yeah, 100%. So he went, talked to his leadership, told him, then me and his leadership had a conversation about that. And I had a whole bunch of paperwork for him to sign, or virtual paperwork for him to sign. Therefore, both parties consented of him leaving his unit, coming over to our unit, right? Therefore, it was like they couldn't sit there and be like, "Oh no, you poached him." No, 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 no. I had paperwork. I have your signature. This is what you signed. But outside of that, though, when they come in our Discord, they take interest in whatever we do. Right? There's an application process they do. From there, we do an interview with them. We kind of explain to them everything that's going to happen, what their pipeline's looking like, how they're going to come in and do stuff. And then we explain to them that uh, we do a personality questionnaire with them, where we ask them the questions, and based off their answer we make the decisions if we want to keep them, we think they're a good fit for us or not. because the last thing we want is we want to bring a troublemaker into the thing to cause a bunch of problems. We've definitely had that before, and that's
Mhm.
which everybody will have that in Arma.
Yep,
It's
yep.
just it's a thing. So but yeah, so that's kind of like how we do things as far as anybody who's interested in joining, especially if they're like, even if they're like, I don't really know, it's like, all right, cool, give me 30 seconds of your time, let me explain this to you, and then if you have any questions, you ask. And even if you still don't know by the end of the 30 seconds, like that's cool, dope, that's fine. But the fact that you're willing to hear me out is great, is awesome enough. So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty solid, and I mean fair at the same time. I mean, again, kind of, maintaining those relationships. Not taking things too seriously because I'm just thinking of if you were gonna request a MOS reassignment, when you re-enlisted or whatever, it's like that's part of the gaming experience as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's all part of the immersive elements, when you think about it. So that's pretty interesting. Now, excuse me. You mentioned about how you want to, host or hold a 24-hour op. How you want to host more joint ops. I'm curious to hear more about your future plans here. I mean, you guys have the future wide open to you. I mean, good leadership, good experience on server. A lot to kind of share with the community. So let's fast forward to the I guess next September 2026. What's it going to look like? What's going to be similar? What's going to be different? For your vision over the next year.
I'll let Kevin, correctly, Alex answer. I'll answer last.
All right. Well, um, to be real, it kind of depends on who joins. A lot of the times, new people will bring new insight, and that'll depend on who they are, their background, what experience they have. Whether you're brand new to Arma and want a place to call home, or you've been doing this for 10 years and you've seen it all, supposedly. Um, so that kind of is how I look at it. It's very much a monthly basis. Like, yeah, we'll have some type of future planning, but it's very much 1 month at a time.
Hmm.
Alex?
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's been brought up at all. At least I can't remember. But Harris here manages the fixed wing department, and White manages the rotary. Um, I'm just a lowly NCO, of course. But for me, in our experience, I think it's more or less staying the course. A few months ago, like right before summer, we just went through like a massive reform of how we want to do things. So I think right now it's really important to stay the course, keep making these changes, and keep going. One of our biggest goals is to develop a lot more leadership and competent individuals that can go off and run their own elements and other stuff like that. So one of my biggest goals is to make sure A, my team is extremely combat effective, and then B, I can develop the people under me to then do my job. If I A want to move on to go run a team, or if they want to go do it. So turning around, hopefully next September, we are in a direction where we have a lot more teams up and we can kind of expand, and we've really ironed out exactly how we want to do things. But I mean, so because we just went through that change, so I don't think there's a whole lot much for us to do right now.
Yeah, to kind of hit off of that, the competency is kind of what I would like to see in the future. Definitely would like to see more people get more training, uh, see how we do leading up to this next year, see what we might and not encourage, but introduce into the unit to see kind of where things go from there. I mean, my job's all going to stay the same, so happy to see what the rest of the unit does.
Uh, for me, right, it's ultimately we do a vote. So every time we go to a different location or we're getting ready to do another location, we do a vote for the whole unit. So it's like, for example, I think like 3 months ago we did a vote for, it's like, hey, where do you guys want to go? Do you guys want to go to like Northern Baltics? Do you want to go to Southern America? Do you want to go to Africa? And they all voted for the Northern Baltics. They're, you know, and I think a lot of the units, and this is not to sham on any units. I'm not, but a lot of units are stuck in the Middle East. They just can't get out of the Middle East, man. It's like there's so much more than that. Like, so it's like even if it's okay to be uncomfortable, right? There are, especially for me, right? Like I don't know a whole lot about like the Ukrainian Russian thing that's going on right now. Like I only know what I'm being told in the military, but I have Kevin and Crackley who are like they read that shit like it's like the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I have questions about it, I'll go, "Hey Kevin, what's going on this week in Ukraine?" And he'd be like, "Oh, well, this is going on." It's like, "All
Oh,
right,
fun
word."
fact: Ukraine actually drone striked Russia this week again.
Oh, okay, that's cool. But anyway, so that's the thing too. It's all about research and demographic on like the current area. So, for example, in December we're going to Latvia, right? It's okay. I don't know anything about Latvia, but I'm doing research on Latvia and how they do stuff and what their country looks like and X, Y, and Z. Therefore, it's like I have somewhat realistic or a more realistic approach and knowledge and how I'm going to disseminate information and what like major language that country speaks. All right, cool. So they majorly speak like Russian because they're right on the Russian border. All right, cool, dope. So majority of the masses speak Russian. Not saying they really do, but so stuff like that. And it's all about the dudes if they want to go to Africa, if they want to go to Egypt, wherever they want to go, right? It's like, all right, cool, dope. Um, I'm super glad that I have another Zeus to help me with a lot of stuff now, but I'm always looking for other Zeuses that help and have insights that can take the load off of myself and Kevin and Crackley. You know what I'm saying? That way they can help us with everything that we need them to help us with. But as far as next year, we have high hopes, and hopefully we have a big joint op then, and people are interested in doing it, and so yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, it's what, what I want to hear, what LaFlash wants to hear, what a lot of guys in the community want to hear. Just that wide open focus. You're taking it one step at a time, but the future is like, unfolding in front of you. And, the fact that you're going to put a priority on improvement, training. You mentioned how you can always improve. And that's, yeah, it's one of the things I always told the guys I played with. It's like, I don't care how badass you are or how many, kills you get in an operation. There's always something better or something more you can do to improve your functionality, your operational capabilities. So never take that for granted. And that's, I think, that focus in leadership, that focus, in the game, behind the trigger, that's what brings out that level of immersiveness, and that's what what special forces soldiers want to see. I can't imagine. I'm sure you guys you meet some casuals along the way, but if they're going to enlist and go all the way and go through all your schools, air assault, airborne, all the qualifications, they really got to want to kind of push their own capabilities and take it to the next level here. So
Yeah,
that's just a great way of doing business in the Armaverse, I think.
it's crazy too because all of our schools, right? So like air assault school and Pathfinder school and sniper school, are all ripped from the handbooks. So
Hmm.
like I have a 430 odd something page Pathfinder book right behind me, and I literally made our Pathfinder school with like taking out bits and pieces of that Pathfinder book and implementing them and armatizing them. And the same thing with like air assault. I think one of our fixed wing pilots when he was on the ground, he made our air assault handbook right from the air assault book, like United States Army.
Hmm.
So it's like not only like yes we're doing it, but it's not you're not jumping through our hoops. Like you're learning something. Like we are teaching you something. So it's like I could ask Kitchner, like Kitchner, what's the minimum radius that a CH-47 Chinook can land? Like what's the minimum radius that they need for clearance? And Kitchner will immediately hit me with an answer. It's like, oh, they need the minimum is what, Kitchner? What's the minimum? Like
I'm
it's
on the
like
spot. 200 meters.
100. Minimum is
I think I'm
200 meters.
wrong.
No, you're good. You're right. So it's like minimum is 200 meters right now for like a UH-60 is like it's 50 meters right now. It's like I wouldn't know that information if it wasn't for like the research that I do, right? And it's like a lot of these dudes they do their own research. Like we now like I was talking about earlier, like Kitchner developed our JTAC or SOTAC program, um, and so and now he's passed the torch, so to speak, to soon to be Sergeant First Class Thorn, who's now like he's taken that, he's ran with it. He's done like he now implemented naval fires. He's implemented polar and grid fires for surface fires. He's done cast missions for 9 lines. He's done cast missions for rotary for 5 lines, and it's insane the willingness that these people have and how willing they are to learn. It's just so awesome to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely. You guys have, a reason to look forward to the experiences to come here. Passing down those those nuggets of wisdom and capabilities there. That's great. So I mean that is high speed. So, I mean, you guys have hit the ground running. You've experienced a change of platform, of title moving from Reforger to Arm. I mean, Reforger to Arma 3. You have your experience in Battlefield and other titles out there. So, when you're looking at the Milsim community or the gaming experience in general, next year or two, what do you want to see develop there? It's like what can other units, what can the community learn from your experiences, or what do you think they need to figure out on their own in terms of innovations?
I think consistency is a big one.
Yeah.
Uh, you see like a lot of smaller units or just some units in general who, get going really good, and then things slow down, but they just give up on it after a little bit. But being in this unit a long time, there's a few points of times where like there's been meetings and considering shutting it down, but it's never happened, and then we would never be where we're at now. And I think the big lesson learned there is consistency. So like no matter how bad it gets, I mean, if you'll pull through it. Um, and I think that's a big thing that not every unit gets.
It's
Mm.
crazy to speak because my wife, for the longest time, she used to help me run 2DAP for the longest time. And so there's been times where like Kitchner said, like I've had like the thought where it's like, damn, we're not going anywhere, thinking about shutting it down or like changing to a new genre. And my wife, she'll sit there and she'll kind of have like that if you're married, Brock, like
Mm.
that wife discussion. She'd be like, you really, really like this. Why would you do that? And I was like, damn it,
That's a
you're
good
right.
one.
Like, so so it's crazy, and that's the same thing where it's like consistency is key. I've seen a lot of really, really good units that start up very small, and as they all do, and they're just like, damn, like we're not going anywhere. Oh, we're not doing a good enough job. Oh, time to shut it down. It's like, no,
Mm.
dude. Like, if you don't stay with it, you'll never see the flower to bloom, right? And people who have like, I get it, there's been times where I've like, I can't tell you how many times I've came to Kevin. I'm like, Kevin, wouldn't it be sick if we did like a Halo unit? And Kevin every time would be like, no. So it's like, that's like, ah, damn, you're right. So it's like, even then, right, it's like your command team, like it's not, even though as a unit commander, like yes, at the end of the day you have all say, but it's giving the respect to your teammates that are willing to sit there and help you run the unit. It's like, no, they have to hold you accountable for everything. I've seen a lot of units that are like, "Oh, we're gonna do SEAL Team 6 this day," and then it's like a month from now, we're not doing that. We're gonna do Halo. It's like,
Mm.
no, and
Yep.
they're like, no, we're gonna do Warhammer. It's like, dude,
Right.
make up your
Yep.
mind, all right? So, because especially like, and you've been a Milsim player, like you can expect to is like nobody likes change,
Yep.
right? Like
Yep.
everybody
Human nature.
hates change. It is human nature. So it's like you stay doing the same thing like every day for a month, and then your unit leader or whoever's like, yeah, we're gonna change. We're gonna do, you know, Halo. It's like I know nothing about Halo. What the fuck? So it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
it's the same thing, dude. It's consistency is key. So even though my unit is not as big, I definitely would like to say for any other unit leader out there, like, dude, if you feel down, man, consistency, stay with the course. I promise you, it'll do great things to you in the future. Your dudes will
Definitely.
eventually
Yeah.
see the amount of work you put in. So
It's the thing. It's a cycle. It's like a lot of things in life. There's seasons, there's ups and downs. There's some of that drama too. But yeah, you got to hold on, man. I mean, part of being a leader, and I've talked about this before, is you got to be present. If you're just coming and going, and you're not in it for the long haul, nobody else is going to be hanging on for the ride either. And yeah, I mean the struggle is real wanting to change over to Halo. I can't tell you how many of my friends are just they're just chomping at the bit to start a new Halo
Right.
Arma 3
Yeah.
unit. But I mean, there's a time for that, and that's where the fun ops come in, where the kind of after hours,
Hmm.
extracurriculars, I should say, where that comes in. So, yeah, I mean that's fair. Consistency, just keeping it real, maintaining, comms with your guys to see what they want, what they expect as well. I mean, that's a big part of it, in terms of them getting to take that stake and buy into it for the long haul. So good shit. All right, so I want to get into some of your personal insights here. I mean, we've cracked open a huge nut here with 2Dab and learning about your backgrounds and what you've brought to the fore for your operators in the unit here. So personally here, what's your favorite part of Bilsim? You talked, yeah, we've addressed this already, but what is it that keeps you coming back and so deeply invested?
For me specifically, and everybody else has their different answers. For me specifically, it's developing new leaders, right? For a long time, the one I was putting in a lot of insight in was Kitchner. Now I'm putting a lot of insight into a lot of the other leaders, right? And it's crazy because you see how much they want to develop. Um, for example, Thorn, right? We're like, hey, Thorn, like for your E7 board, right? Because he's got a promotion board coming up. We're like, hey, for you, you have to write a 2 paragraph essay on why you believe you should be an E7, right? And he's like, all right, bet. And like literally as soon as I told him that, like he started writing it. And then like last night we were like, I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, dude, he's like, I've rewritten this essay like 3 times. And he's like, I just don't know what to put. And it's like, dude, look, it is your essay, you run with it. And it's crazy because it's like seeing people that devoted, right? That are willing to do it and that are willing to learn and that are willing to be criticized just to be better is crazy to me. I can't tell you how many times like Crackly knows this individual, Akai, right? I had this one dude named Akai. He was in the
Oh
unit,
God.
and I think he was our rotary wing XO, and he ended up leaving the unit because he joined the military. He ended up then calling my cell phone like 6 months later. I was like, what the hell? And he's like, hey, dude, I just want to say thank you for everything you've done. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, everything that you've taught us, like, has prepared me for like U.S. Army basic training.
Mm.
And I was like, hell yeah, dude. Like that right there, like that motivates the shit out of me. Like, I'm just like, dude, yes. Like, and
We
it's just like,
swear we're not a psyop.
yeah, no. And it's the same, it's the thing, dude. It's like I told him, I was like, dude, don't put that celebration on me. No, like you did that. Like that
Sure.
is
Yeah.
your accomplishment. And he's like, thank you, thank you. And I was like, dude, no, like that is like you don't need to thank me. Like thank you for listening to what I have to say. Like that is your accomplishment. You bask in the winnings. So it's just crazy to see people to develop. I definitely say my second favorite part is SFSA. Because SFSA is probably our longest course, and I think a lot of your listeners will listen to this like, what the hell?
Hmm.
It's a 21-day course, 21 consecutive days long. And we shove information down their throat for 21 days. Now,
Hardcore.
granted, it's an invite only course, so it's not like a hey, like you have to go to it. It's like a hey, yo, like you go to this course and we shove nothing but like tactic information, leadership information down your throat, and then we hold the individual accountable. We hold the whole team accountable for the team's mess ups. So it's Kitcher can talk a little bit about that if he wants to talk about that, but because he's Gen 1. He was our Gen 1 SFSA class that went through. Is the first time we did it. But yeah, those are probably my two favorite things about being a part of a Milsim, and that's probably what keeps me going is just seeing people develop and seeing what type of person they are. So yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be rewarding, being able to pass down that leadership, to people who are taking it into the real world and, doing some of the hardest jobs that you can do. I
Oh
love
yeah.
that, when you got get young guys who are in a unit and they're learning and kind of, testing the waters a little bit to see if they like that kind of experience and getting a taste of what to expect. And then you see them graduate through, BCT or through OSIT or whatever the course they're graduating from. But yeah, to get a call, man, I mean, that says a lot about the connections that you've made here,
Yeah.
as a friend, as a family member. So yeah, that's some good stuff right there.
Well, um, I'll go next, I suppose.
Sure.
And for me, it's kind of also ties back to the last one as like a leadership kind of thing. Basically, you gotta look back on what you specifically as leader or as a group of leaders in a unit have created. Um, as we've previously stated, we're not just a Milsim unit. We don't just get together on our days and do stuff. We do stuff all the time. Um, I mean, I guess this is an example of that technically. Uh, and you gotta look back on everything. So to me, yeah, the operations are fun, but it's mainly the friendships that has been the most exciting part because I I wouldn't really be doing anything with anybody else apart from one or two more people um, online if it weren't for these guys, pretty much.
Yeah, that's great. Bringing out the best. Not only in yourselves, but also in the experience, what's capable. It's in a way you're kind of scaling it up, and when you got good people, side by side, that's what really makes it the best.
To
I
kind of
think. Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
to kind of knock on that, one, what keeps me coming back is like kind of like my buddy said here, the people that are here, I love to see the growth and the commitment that they make. Whether that be them going from one MOS to another, or them just learning what they can do within what they've learned in their time being here. That and just the different types of operations we can do. Everything that just everyone comes together and does, I'd say at least once to twice a week on major ops, major events. It's amazing because everybody takes the time out of their real life to put it aside and come hang out with people they've never met, all to do one task together. And that seeing them grow is what makes me want to keep going.
Yeah, yeah, I hear that. That's
Uh,
great.
yeah, for me, I've got two major things that motivate me. One of them being is seeing the result of everything. Um, that's a massive one, which kind of ties into my second point. But the amount of work that I put in, or I see others put in, that not just leadership, but every single person when it comes, grabbing their stuff or being aware of the plan, helping create the plan, and doing everything. When everything goes right, and for me, I clip the whole thing. Um, I kind of just after every operation, I hop back into Discord and I like pop up a stream and I kind of just go like review it, and then we can all just giggle like little schoolgirls and review it. Um,
Sorry.
Good times.
but yeah, when everything like really comes together really well, and like you can look back on it and just see how far we've come, and it's even better that since I've started clipping everything, when I go way back to some of the earlier stuff that I clipped, and then I watch some of that stuff, it's a really big eye opener of like, holy shit, we've come a really really long way. Um, and the second piece is the mentorship, like where everybody else was, which to me is another eye opener of the result, because which we have another topic coming up. I'll talk more about, I guess, my transformation into what I am now, but I kind of, as Sexton over here likes to say, I showed up like a blank sheet of paper. Um, but I came from Battlefield 5, or I came from a different Reforged Mill Sim thing, and I had no knowledge of anything, no military tactics or whatnot. And going through that SFSA course, and then being around all the individuals that I've been around, because I've had probably like 30 different mentors at this point in time, and I uh, I grab all the information up. Like a big point that I brain farted earlier that I was trying to bring up was humility. That was the other principle. Um, I don't think there's one person who you can't learn from. So I think that whenever you go about trying to act like you're better than somebody because you're however you've been in a unit for however long or whatever. Just because they show up now doesn't mean their knowledge isn't worth anything. Um, but yeah, really, the really big part is seeing the result of everything and seeing everything come together.
You know, I mean, that's been a common theme for all four of you here. You know, you enjoyed that leadership, being able to pass down what you've learned, to hand on that experience, that good time, just the fun, you know, together in server and off. But you know, that long-term focus where you're kind of planting the seeds and you're waiting for them to grow, and it takes time, you know, to really see people unlock their full potential. But when it does happen, man, it can be cinematic, you know, when you're in an op together, when you're all kind of running a gun and doing your part, and it comes together in a cohesive, you know, kind of engagement. I mean, that's absolutely incredible, and that's what you know, for me and for a lot of guys, you know, that's what makes Milsim so just so amazing. You know, it's like, yeah, you got these kind of big blockbuster titles where it's like this linear kind of fight. You're just going in the direction of the story. But when you have people like put their heart and soul, their time and their money, you know, for the hardware, man, to make it happen, and then it actually comes to fruition. You know, that's absolutely incredible, and it can be like more than you expected. So some amazing perspectives there. You know, really good, uplifting, kind of positive stuff. I mean, you talked about mentorship here. I mean, that's what you guys are doing here, passing on to your guys. So, um, you know, in terms of that kind of cinematic experience, what about a dream op? I mean, you guys have done a lot, you know, across titles, but is there something that you guys want to do and haven't yet kind of pulled off? You know, what would like your ultimate mission or campaign look like?
24-hour op.
Yeah.
Waiting
That's the
for it.
one. Yep, yep.
So,
Yeah.
I'll start us off here. Basically, it'd be a 24-hour style of operation that incorporates multiple different things. Obviously, we have three different elements right now of our unit. We have fixed wing, rotary, and infantry. So in this operation, you know, for me as rotary guy, I'd like to do CAS, and my guys like to do logistics. So that'd be great. As one unit, though, it's not exactly easy to do all of that stuff with just like one or two teams on the ground. So obviously, this unit or this massive dream op that we're proposing here, I guess, would we definitely want multiple units involved and hope to God, the Arma gods, that the server works right. And just multiple units, maybe whole front line or something. And yeah, that's how I'd like to see it at least, kind of.
Amen to that. I mean, definitely. I love it when the community gets together and holds these joint ops. And the thing is, for me, it's like, you know, I know all our schedules are busy with work and everything else we got going on, plus you know, the unit here. But I love it when everybody comes together. So I hope that people kind of to figure things out, that you guys can get more support, you know, more commitment and engagement from other units here. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we do this podcast, so we can get your story out, see what you got going on. So, if there are opportunities for growth, for connection, for just you know getting together and just doing those dream ops, man, that's what we're all about. So, 24-hour ops, yeah, that's a rare one. It would take a lot of moving parts to make that. You know, come to fruition, you know, tactically. But I look forward to seeing more, you know, kind of keeping up with you guys and seeing where you're going over the next year to make that happen. All right, so we talked a lot about your culture, your history, you know, some of the other soldiers that you have playing with you that weren't able to make the podcast here. You know, what can you tell us about any kind of traditions, rituals? You know, I always love to ask leaders about this. Like, you know, for your soldiers here, are there any kind of unique aspects, any kind of like, you know, hidden lore that you're willing to unveil a little bit tonight?
Man. What did you guys answer the question? Because I don't really know how to answer it.
Actually, I mean, the simplest way I could answer it, this isn't really an Arma thing at all. So, and I really hope he doesn't see this before he gets married.
Who? You talking about
Little
Landon?
no, yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
so a buddy
shit.
of mine, I actually have an entire rifle built for him for his wedding. So
Whew.
on his wedding day, I've got to get to Florida, watch him get married, and give him that rifle.
Oh, he invited me
Wow.
to that too. I gotta go. Fuck, I gotta
He
go to that
built it
too.
at my house too when we were hanging out, and
But they don't like last Christmas actually.
it's at least for us two. It seems to be a yearly thing starting back 2-3 years ago now. At this point, where Harry's and I go and meet up every year, just for the maybe every 6 months. So
They're
video game wise or online wise, we don't necessarily like some type of ritual that we have or tradition.
Gainey bombing us.
Well,
Dude,
okay,
dude, oh
that's
my
one of them.
god,
But
that was so fucking funny.
Frost is not gonna like what I'm about to say, but it's definitely running to the fence. Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So my wife, right? This is a great. So my wife would sit there, and she would do it as a joke, purely as a joke. But she didn't really, she doesn't ever play video games like that. But when she did, when we were under Forger, she would like pause. She'd spawn bot like rocks and stuff in, and she'd make these people like that were fucked up for whatever reason talk to like rocks. She'd be like, I want you to talk to the rock. So they would just talk to the rock, and it was fucking hilarious. When we came to Arma 3, I think the funniest moment, at looking back on it, it's funny, but in the moment I was so mad. Landon or Gainey was flying an A10, and I called in a cash strike on an objective that was like 250 meters away from me in a building, and we lased the target, right? So we're like, hey, there's no way he can miss this. There's no way. He started his gun run 200 meters short, and we were literally right where we were. He killed every single person. He killed like 23 people except 2 people, which is me and the RTO. And oh my god, I was so fucking mad. I was like, Kevin, get him out of the sky now. Like looking
There
back
was-
on it, it's so funny.
There was another one too.
Oh yeah.
I think it happened one other time that I can't remember, but we're all kind of just hanging out and we're about to go like assault this power plant, but we stopped for a second.
Oh, that was like 2 months
And
ago.
yeah, and so the fixed wing guys doing casts somewhere else, not at all for us. But I get out of my vehicle because we're driving around JLTVs, and I go to Sexton here calls me up because I was an RTO at the time, and he wants me to like go help him with something, and so I walk up to him and like, get in the truck. So I get in the truck. We're sitting there for a few seconds. There's no radio communication, nothing. We just get fucking smoked by like 1,000-pound bomb for no reason.
Mm.
And
Dude.
it was so dumb. And I'm
One
just
of
like,
those
oh
Arma
my god,
moments.
that
Yeah.
was great.
Oh, dude, it was, and I just like I teleported Kevin. I was like, Kevin, get him out of the sky now. And Kevin's like, okay, they just teleported away. Just oh my
But
god.
That's right. Relief for
but yeah,
cause.
as for traditions, I mean, it's Frost has gotten better over the years. And a lot a lot of us who've been here a while kind of see it as like, well, whenever he's on his little high horse about being mad because we messed up during an out, which okay, fair enough, it happens to everybody, and we just kind of turn him off in our own minds and go about our business until he's done, and might have to run to a fence a couple times back and forth. Just it's something we do here. It's something we've just done, and it's not really a joke, but it's more of kind of a instill like, hey, take this seriously, or I'm gonna waste your time, as Frost always says. So yeah.
Yeah, a way of approaching and overcoming a problem, an obstacle, if you will. If you pardon the expression. But yeah, I gotta say, she's a keeper, man. I mean, it's like I thought, my wife was pretty supportive of my gaming, history. But yeah, that's I love it. So,
Dude.
good
Oh, dude,
shit.
you have no idea. I am so fucking lucky, dude.
We had this guy
Yeah,
named
yep,
Ham.
live it up.
Oh
We had this guy
yeah,
named Ham. Ham was
Yeah.
fantastic at making people talk to the fence.
dude. Okay. So for like a good 2 years,
Wasting the platoon's time.
the motto of the unit was, "Are you wasting the platoon's time?" Because it's all he said. He's like, "Are you wasting the platoon's time?" And everybody started saying that. Like I said it, Kitchner said it, Kevin said it, Crackley said it. It was just so funny.
Do you think you're a fucking individual?
You think you're an individual? Like, is that what you're doing now? Oh, dude.
One-liners, man, they're great. So what's looking back, I mean, you talked about some of the moments, some of the Arma moments, some of the fuck ups that happen as you guys are learning and developing and growing. But let's talk about like your actual ops. You have a busy schedule. For you guys, what's the most memorable mission that you've experienced, as part of 2DAB?
I think the most recent one I could think of was probably when they did FID. So the whole lore behind this was we deployed to Iran. We weren't supposed to be there. It was very clandestine. And the whole objective was we were supposed to do UW with another terrorist organization to overthrow the Iranian government and the terrorist organization that was like co-running with the Iranian government.
Hmm.
There was a house or it was a compound, and they performed route recon, or they're not route recon. Sorry, they performed ISR on it, utilizing stealth drones as well as human. So like they actually went and took pictures of it, all that other stuff, and like did everything. And then moving outside of that, they then how do I explain this? They then were like, all right, cool, this is what's gonna happen. And they planned the entire way on how they're gonna hit the objective. And so there was a sniper team, which was Kitchner and Davidson, and they were sitting about 400 meters away from the building. And they literally, like, I saw it in Zeus, they were marking targets with IR. So like Kitchner would shine a laser on it, and then Davidson would turn his laser on and off to confirm that that was a target. And they did that for every one of them. And so as soon as they hit, like they're like, "Yep, we're good." They shot all four of the targets. The sniper shot all four of the targets, killed. I think it was 4 or 6. Alex, I can't remember which one.
6 dudes.
They killed 6 dudes in
Nice.
11 seconds. They killed 6 dudes in 11 seconds. As soon as the 6th dude dropped, Alex was like, "Yep, you're good." They blew down the back right wall, the compound wall, with the package charge, and they cleared the entire compound in 4 minutes and 15 seconds. Found the intel, grabbed the dude, loaded him up into a truck, and then they drove off like nothing never happened. It was probably the cleanest like raid I've ever seen them do in the most
Yeah.
recent time. It was probably one of my favorite ones as far as like tactically driven. It's really good.
Yeah, some Dark 30 shit right there. So that's badass when it all comes together like that.
I
So yeah, well, I was gonna say, so anybody else like any memorable missions from your experience here in the unit?
I'm gonna cheat the question a little bit because mine's more of a that 21-day training phase.
Yeah, sure.
Um, so to explain it a little bit better, we ended up running it like 4 times, so we reference it like Gen 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Hmm.
It was either 4 or 5. I think it was only 4. I'm the last man standing of the Gen 1 class. Who, I mean, we call it this because we like to reference it as Spartans. Funny enough. But when I went through it, I joined the unit like October 6th, and then I went to the SFSA the very next month. And I went through with a group of guys. How it worked back then was, a bunch of people got invited. I was one of them, and then we all went through. We did a bunch of individual skills like the first week, and then like first half of the week, and then it just developed in like team skills for the next week and a half, and then we had our Robin Sage test out. But and if you didn't meet the wicket, you could get tossed out, and then if you and then we also had peer reviews. So if the team didn't like somebody, that person would get dropped. Our team really came together in that last like Robin Sage little mini operation, which we just embedded in a local populace, armed them, trained them, and sent them into go die, as one does. But we were told, only 3 people are going to pass. We're going to have like a 4-man team. And right before Robin Sage, we were split down the middle, 50-50 divided. We voted out this one guy, great guy. He's now a British SF, but he's no longer in the unit because he doesn't have a computer. But he ended up just saying, no, I'm not getting voted out. So then we went back and we re-voted, and there was this one dude who was actually causing problems, and he was the bad apple. it was between the guy who said no and him. They literally flipped a coin, and the bad apple got kicked out.
Mm.
And then we went and we had our SFSA where, I mean, it was a multi-day event, so I can't really describe the operation in detail, but I could, but it'd take me forever.
It was more
We
fitting.
worked together really well, and then there was just a lot of camaraderie. Like we all just became like really good homies right after that. And then we were all told, hey, there's gonna be another peer review at the end of this. You're gonna vote somebody out. And then on that last boat ride on the way back to the boat, we all decided to sit down and like have a heart to heart. And we decided we're not voting anybody else out, and we're gonna make them decide that. Which we ended up fighting, and nobody got kicked out, which was one of the even better parts. But again, kind of like one of my favorite parts about Arma and the communities, the friendships and the homies you can make out of it. And those dudes were definitely a lot of like really good homies I made out of it.
Yeah, that sounds like something out of a documentary. I mean, sticking to the immersive nature of special forces qualification and assessment and selection, but also the outcome, the relationships and the kind of connections that translate, in game and out. But really, I mean, that is something that I think unique even among milsims. There are a lot of great units, a lot of great people who come together and find those connections. But yeah, I mean, you guys, you were just running a gun and like serious. So that's really outstanding to hear.
Oh yeah.
I'll keep mine short because I really don't have. I've been around. You could probably ask Frost. I'm probably the most active person in the unit when it comes to just showing up to everything because I got nothing better to do really. But for me, it's probably when we were in Brazil for the fighting the cartels and the Chinese,
Mm.
and when I took over Rotary for the second time within 2 hours. I went from joining Rotary to then becoming in charge of it again because I realized, well, back in Reforger, it's a long story. I don't need to get into it. We don't want to waste too much time.
That's cool. So yeah, I mean, good experiences there. Some cinematic moments and of course those friendships, man. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. And yeah, clipping, man. I love recordings. I love going back. I mean, addressing you some points a few minutes ago. I love being able to kind of, not only make that part of the lore, but also just to see those moments again from a different perspective, with not so much stress, going on. Really, some great shit right there. Now, this is one of the favorite questions for me for a lot of our audience members here. I want to ask you about military movies or TV
Oh, we
shows,
have this answer.
miniseries. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
we
it's like
we already got it.
Yeah.
there's so many SOCOM movies, but Hollywood is kind of hit or miss. If you guys wanted to narrow down the 2DAB experience to something on the silver screen, what would it be?
So
Kitchner?
before we hold
let
on,
me.
before we say this, it's not gonna sound great necessarily. However, it's
So
totally
I'll
true.
elaborate. We all got together though previously, and we saw this question. We're like, that's a fantastic question. Which one do we think best represents us? And to go back to the earlier statement of we're like a family. With family comes a lot of arguments, discussions, bitches, gripes, and complaints. But at the end of the day, we can all get over it. So immediately I brought up Generation Kill, and everybody clacked on and said yes, and not because of like all the bullshit they were going through and like not as much combat shit like that, but it was purely just because of the amount of stupid shit that can occur and just the amount of like talking that happens. Because go back and look at some of our older ops, which we're getting increasingly better and better at it, which we've almost knocked it down. But it was like, hey, we're gonna drive around and do nothing for 2 hours waiting on ISR while we just hang out, sing songs, and communicate with each other, and then we're gonna shoot people for 30 minutes, and that'll be all right. Thank
And
God
then
it's
after
not like
that,
that anymore, but it was bad.
and then after that, we have a 2-hour conversation about what went wrong.
Yeah.
Keeping
But
it
no,
real.
it's a lot of we do the op, and then generally just the people that we have who do stuff with us like to stick around and talk and just go over basically the entire op again, but figuring out what we did wrong. So we do the op for like 20-minute briefing in the beginning. All right, everybody's here. Let's get this under roll. All right, 5 minutes planning. Okay, cool. Do the op. That lasts like an hour, 2 hours. Cool. Debrief. Another 5 minutes. And then if you don't want to be here, sure, we're done. But then we just start talking about what went wrong or what we can
Like,
improve, what
so
went
many
great.
people just sit there and just talk. Yeah.
Like Kitchner here has a clip that he showed us the other day of one of our older ops that was all of 30 minutes of actual combat, and then it was a 2-hour clip.
It was like
So
2.5 hours. We literally drove around JLTVs, just stood on the side of a road waiting on our ISR the whole time.
so yeah, Generation Kill is very much what we all collectively agreed on for that.
Embrace the suck. Yeah, it's a great title. Definitely. I mean, I know a lot of our guys listening. They've seen it. The clips are out there, so check it out. But that's another good one. I think it's one of the more recent. It's kind of a new classic, if you will. A lot of great movies and miniseries going back over the decades. But yeah, I mean, just that level of reality and just the kind of just craziness of combat and everything that goes on around it. That's a good one. So I got to ask you. I mean, this is for Sexton here in particular, but for everybody, you're all on the Milsim Units server here. So I mean, you guys are a tier one unit. I mean, literally, and with your sub here on the platform. So we're always curious to hear feedback from unit leaders, from others on the platform. So I want to ask you, what are some of the ups and downs you can give us for Milsim Units? What's the good going on, and what do we need to improve and develop on our own side?
So I, with Milsim Units in general, right? I with LaFlash, I knew LaFlash for a minute. I tried to join ops with his unit. Unfortunately, they fell through, so we didn't get a chance to do them together.
Hmm.
But it was for a minute where I was sitting there and I was like, he was like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And I was like, Milsim Units at the time, I was kind of short on cash. I was like, "No, I'm good." Um, and then recently, I was like, "You know what? Yeah, sure, fuck it, why not?" So I was like 2 months ago, and I have no complaints, man. Every person I've talked to, whether it's been you, Devin, or LaFlash himself, just there's just great energy. It's a great vibe. And it's like from like me, like LaFlash talking to my S1 team at like 2 in the morning, just sitting there just bullshitting, and it's like him showing us like cool stuff of what he's got planned for the future, and it's like, yo, that's sick. You know what I'm saying? It's this. So I have no gripes, and everything I've talked, and Milsim Units has significantly helped our unit with recruitment. They've helped our unit with publicity. Even when I've went to LaFlash and asked him questions about like leadership and stuff like that, he's websites, stuff like that. He's always been there, and he's always helped us out significantly, like a decent bit. So I don't really have any negative or cons about Milsim Units. I think you guys are all doing a fabulous job. And honestly, like, it's an honor to work with you guys. So
I appreciate it. I mean, definitely for LaFlash, for me, for everybody involved, for you guys in your own right, it's a labor of love. It's a special thing. There's nothing quite like it in gaming, from what I can from what I can gather. But yeah, that we can help you, bring out the best in yourselves and the community. That's, again, for us, that's what it's all about. So keep the comms open. It's like people are busy. Life is not getting any simpler. But when you can, get together for a couple hours with like-minded, guys and kind of escape to that other realm, if you will, in the Armaverse or whatever title you're playing for. That's what we're living and breathing for here. So yeah,
right.
definitely, I appreciate it again. All right. So, I mean, this has been a great podcast here. I love it when we have a wide platform of leaders with these different perspectives. It's kind of like, clips and recordings and streams. It's like every person, every point of view gives you a little bit deeper insight into what's going on, from that individual perspective and, in the unit as a whole. So, I really enjoyed this one. But as we kind of start to wrap up, I just want to ask. I mean, I'm thinking back. I've been taking some notes here about some of the points that you made. We really have hit a lot of topics. But is there anything that we haven't discussed? Anything that you want listeners to know about 2DAB that that we didn't get into that level of detail you would have liked?
It doesn't matter how new you are or how experienced you are. It doesn't matter whether you think you know nothing at all about the military or nothing at all about Arma in general. Um, we're here to help you. We're here to be here for you if you guys are looking for a unit. Here to teach you, guide you, whatever you guys need if you guys are looking for that. If you guys aren't, you guys are just looking for a good group of dudes to hang out, shoot the shit with, like, let us know. Um, but besides our unit, right? Like every other unit has a specialization of their own, and you know, they're every other unit is looking for dudes to be a part of them just as much. So, whatever unit you're a part of, don't if you got a good thing going with them, don't just dip on them because they need you just as much as you need them. But yeah, Kevin, Crackly, Alex, you guys got anything else?
Want to throw in the shameless plug of we all are getting custom gear, helmets, and plate carriers.
Nice.
No matter what membership, you can hop in, and I think there
So
actually is a limit on it, but
so yeah, that goes back. Basically, we make all of our stuff to be a you literally just bought Arma today and you've always heard about Milsim through YouTube and all these other different platforms and you want to try it, right? Whether that be you're a console player and you just got a PC and Arma 3 is obviously, arguably probably the biggest Milsim environment I'd say in gaming, despite maybe I guess Battlefield. But it's definitely more on the realism side.
Right.
And
Yep.
we make all of our stuff, so we will put as much time as we need into you to get you up to our standard. You just have to be dedicated on your end to show up, talk to us, and be willing to learn something, whether that be BLC and leadership styles or just in general how to play a video game. Yeah.
yeah, I actually wanna add on to, uh, yeah, we definitely live on the theory of the more you put in, the more you get out, and like every single thing that we have out there is a resource to train others. We definitely don't expect people just to hop in and know everything and be super on top of their shit. Our basic training, for most units is just a wicket or anything like that, but we go in with the intention of actually teaching when it comes to basic training, any schools, even just a team training. Um, and that's one of our like big goals. And if you're ever struggling with something, whether it's something personal or even just any training material, I guarantee you can message any leader, almost any member of the unit, and they're going to try to help you. And if they can't, they're either A, going to point you in the direction to help you, or they're going to go ask that person themselves and get you that help. We really strive on making sure everybody has what they need and are capable of doing the job because we don't expect anybody to do something that we can't teach them.
Hmm. Yeah,
Kevin, you got anything?
common theme
Sorry,
here.
Mika.
No, yeah, please go
Off
ahead.
the top of my head, except for, I mean, just transparency. Being able to communicate with us is all we really ask for.
Right? Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I was saying a common theme here. You guys are all in the same wavelength here, and again, that's why I think you've gelled so firmly and kept it together going over these years. Over the different titles and through all the challenges, all the drama, as we've said so many times here. So really good shit here. Great podcast. I love these really in-depth, detailed ones because it's like it's just it's part of the community lore. It's like every good mission has its backstory. Every good unit likewise has its backstory. So great discussion here tonight. Now, I'm going to put links to your social media, to your Discord server in the description below, so people can check you out. They can take a look at what you got. Touch base with you, get some comms going. You mentioned part of the recruitment process. Some of the steps that you got to take to get up to speed and get rolling with you guys. What's the best way if somebody wants to click that link and come to your Discord? Where do they go? How do they get involved with 2DAB?
So if you click the link on the Discord, right, it'll automatically take you to our Discord. We post on Facebook, we post on Twitter, we post on Arma unit on the Milsim Units page. We also post on the Armor Discord, like we said. But as soon as you join our Discord, man, we have a bot that automatically shoots you a Discord message, basically telling you the steps of what you need to do. Now, granted, it's not like one of those like usually as soon as you enter the Discord, someone that is an actual human being on the other side of the screen usually sends you a message welcoming you to the unit and telling you the further steps from there, just in case like you didn't see the message from the Discord bot or whatever have you. So that way, like you automatically get like a like open arms welcome essentially to the unit. So there's that. And then obviously like we'll ask you questions, and then if you have any questions that you feel like have not been covered, or you have anything that any speculations or any like life specific questions or stuff that's going on in your life and you don't know if you'll be able to be a part of it, like ask us those questions, man. And we'll try to make it happen as much as we can. We'll try to give you as much transparency as honesty as we can. So
Too easy. All right, well, great stuff. Again, this was a great conversation here tonight. Looking forward to getting this up to share with the rest of the community here. So, Colonel Sexton, Lieutenant Colonel Harris, Major White, and Master Sergeant Kitchner here. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Thanks for the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And seriously, we'll keep the comms open. Looking forward to the future. We got stuff a lot in the works here. LaFlash is always working behind the scenes. I don't know where he gets the time and energy, but he's keeping us going strong. So we'll have some more information about what we got going here on the platform, community events as they develop and unfold, and definitely with 2DAB here, looking forward to seeing what you got going in the year and the months and years to come.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, gentlemen. Been another great show. Looking forward to the next one. We always got something in the works. Kind of unlocking the door and taking a peek into some of these high-profile units. So we'll be back as soon as we are ready for the next episode. Until that time, this is C. Brock signing off.